My partner is a high school math teacher. He has been teaching now for a decade now and generally has been praised by students, parents, other teachers and admin for how he does his job. We have been together for 7 years. We got married in 2023. I have never worried about him being interested in his students. We have even talked about teacher/student relationships and he has never expressed anything other than disgust and how it's an abuse of power, even if the student is an adult, not to specific instances just movie instances and general topic discussion. He has never been called out for being inappropriate, that I know, never engaged with students over the weekend/summer, unless it's school related, but even then all contact is through school email or with parents. He generally refers to his students as his kids and actively keeps a distance from developing too close of a relationship, because he is young, attractive and other male teachers recommended he do so. Okay, here's what happened. Around March, we were at the movie theater one evening and I noticed a gaggle of girls staring and pointing. I notified my partner, assuming they were his students, and he told me I was right. We did not go over to say hi. We have seen his students before out and about and he says hi on a case-by-case basis but typically doesn't initiate, and they did not come to us. But, I noticed the rest of the girls playfully shoving one girl with lots of whispers, and the girl was staring at my husband sheepishly. I immediately thought she probably had a crush and honestly, thought nothing of it after until last weekend. We were celebrating Canada Day at a barbecue with family and my husband was pretty wasted. At one point, he went to the bathroom and didn't come back for so long I was worried he was getting sick, so I checked on him. And I knocked and said it was me. He said he was okay and would be right out but didn't unlock the door. He stayed in the bathroom for another /10 minutes. Super unusual for him but it could have been anything. Later that night, I woke up around 3 and he wasn't in bed. Worried again, I got up and found him on his phone in the living room. This is also unusual. When I asked what he was doing, he was definitely surprised and hit his phone screen. He said he couldn't sleep and didn't want to wake me up by watching videos next to me in bed. We both went back to sleep together. The next morning, he was hungover and slept in. I went through his phone. I have never not had a reason to trust him, so I have never gone through his phone. I found nothing of interest, except for the Snapchat app, which was not logged into. He used to use Snapchat but, from what I knew, hadn't in years. I honestly assumed nothing finding the app and figured I was reading too much into things. Last night, I saw a Snapchat notification pop up on his phone while we were watching TV. It was out of the corner of my eye but the logo is too recognition to mistake. My heart fucking dropped, because, knowing he was logged out last week means he is definitely using it secretly. I pretended like I didn't notice and a couple minutes later he got up to take a long poop. I cried while he was in the bathroom. Shortly after, I said I was going to bed early and he stayed up without me. He's on summer break. When I got up for work, he was still passed out. I went on his phone and found no Snapchat app. It was then that I knew something was shady for sure, and when I looked up Snapchat on the home screen, it was there, just hidden in a folder of apps disguised as cooking and workout apps. He had not logged out of Snapchat and when I opened it, there was only one conversation with a real human and it was a girl. There was no evidence of conversation between them because, for those who don't know, Snapchat deletes previous messages for good. I was ready to confront him for cheating with basically zero evidence but decided to keep snooping for something concrete. In that same disguised folder, I found that he had OnlyFans downloaded. The only content creator he was subscribed to had the same username as the woman on Snapchat, but it's his fucking student. The one from the theater, who was blushing. I have never clocked a face so fast. I am 100% certain. We make fun of OnlyFans simps all the time so I was already disgusted but I actually threw up when I found this. I was scared I was going to wake him up and genuinely didn't know what to do so I put his phone back and left for work. At work, I did some sleuthing and was able to find the girl's Instagram/Twitter accounts. She's 18 and from grad photos I can tell with certainty that she attended my husband's school. The same OnlyFans link was in her Twitter bio. He has texted me normally throughout the day and I have not responded to any but to tell him I have to go to my parents tonight, but in reality I am still at work because I don't know what to do. The reality is that this is fucked up but she has graduated. Is this now just the same as any old affair? I don't even know if she was in any of his classes. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to do next. School here finishes end of June but high school students are done earlier to complete exams so mid-June. They graduate in May, as in celebrate and walk the stage, but return to school for exams. Divorce for sure unless I am mistaken. But, I am also praying trying to find any way that this could be acceptable or ignored because I'm heartbroken. My heart is shattered. I know I have an obligation to protect his students but am struggling to this of this man as the one I married. I can't even think straight. What kind of lawyer do I get? I've never had one before? Just divorce lawyer? Will they tell his school if I confide in them before I know the truth? Yes I know her name. Is there a chance that he is not engaging and just subscribed? A chance that he has her Snapchat but isn't talking? Is there a chance I'm wrong? Should I check when it was downloaded before I ask? If he downloaded it after the school year ended and has not been engaging, is this the same as porn? It feels worse. I know. But then I also think that I don't know without proof. Is what I have proof? We share a mortgage. And a cat. We have shared investments. We just passed our 1-year anniversary. I thought I knew him and now I don't even know if I can go home. I don't know where to go. We've never so much as even had a fight where one of us sleeps at a friend's. If I go to my family or friends they will press me and then I can't take anything back. Update 1. No, I didn't have pictures or screenshots of the Snapchats or OnlyFans. I was so upset I didn't even think about it until afterwards and I thought there would be another chance to get them. I realized I fucked up. For some of my early comments, my brain was still reeling. I am 100% leaving my husband, to make it clear. It took me some time to come to terms with what was actually happening and the fact that I was in denial, but Reddit helped me get there, so thanks. The comments were about 50-50 split between talking to a lawyer or my husband first. The reality is that I didn't think I had anywhere else to go at the time and I was so emotional last night and felt like I needed to know. I wanted to confront him and rip off the band-aid. He called me while I was still at work and I ended up telling him we needed to talk. He seemed thrown off by this and cancelled plans to stay in. I didn't get home for almost 3 hours after that, crying and deciding WTF to do. Ultimately I went home. If you're ever in the same position, don't do what I did. I wanted to follow the advice of many comments by basically saying I know about her, but I really wanted to get pictures of the evidence first, so I planned on playing it cool, saying never mind, all is okay, until we went to sleep and then sneaking back on his phone. I shouldn't have said anything on the phone, but my emotions got the better of me. But when I walked in the house, I immediately felt like he knew that I knew. He said what's up super standoffishly, just seemed off, and whatever I said on the phone must have tipped him off. Either that, or he was able to tell that I was on his phone in the morning somehow, pretending to be asleep? I'm not sure. So I couldn't control myself and got super emotional and confronted him on the spot. I asked if he had OnlyFans. It was the first thing out of my mouth, and he literally said no. What did you want to talk about? I told him I knew that he did and he denied. I told him I went on his phone this morning and scoffed and walked away. I followed him crying and screaming that I knew he had OnlyFans and Snapchat, that I was leaving him, and finally cried out something about cheating with his students. When I said that, he immediately turned around and asked what the fuck I was talking about. I told him that I knew about the girl, 18F, and his face genuinely turned into somebody I don't know. He immediately began yelling in my face that I don't know what I was talking about, how dare me accuse him of sleeping with his students, that I'm crazy and trying to ruin his life. I was screaming at him back. I told him to open his phone and prove it, and he laughed in my face about how stupid somebody would be to do what I'm accusing him of, and basically threw his phone at my face and said, knock yourself out. As people can probably guess, there was nothing. He definitely knew before I got home. He was logged out of Snapchat, and when I asked him to log in and stop lying, he logged into a different account and asked me if I would drop it now. The first one had just 18F and a few AI account things. This one had all his old college group chats and other people, including me. He gaslit me and swore he didn't have another account. He even suggested that I dreamt all of this. At one point he finally admitted that he subscribed to enough for a streamer during one of our intimacy lulls, but never a student, and he swore he lied because he loved me and doesn't engage in that kind of behavior anymore. It was just hours of lies and gaslighting. He said that he knew which student I was talking about, but that he's never spoken to her or taught her. He didn't recall the movie theater incident and accused me of imagining it too. He denied receiving a Snapchat at all a few nights ago when I first saw it. He denied acting shady the days before. He denied everything. I was absolutely disgusted by him the whole night. As the conversation went on, he started to talk about how he's going to get us marriage counseling, that my trust issues can be worked on, and he would leave teaching if it's what it took for me to stay, but never admitted to anything with a student. Admittedly, I was starting to get a bit of a gaslight fog about the situation, believing some of what he was saying, but when he volunteered to leave teaching, I knew it was worse than I knew. Because teaching is his everything, he gave up an amazing opportunity which would have made him 3-4x the money and way more recognition to teach, and has never complained about his job a day in his life. We both know he loves his job more than he loves me. If this was truly all a misunderstanding, or if it was a one-off with a graduated non-student, I just think he would do more to protect his job and his career. He wouldn't just leave over crazy behavior for me. That immediately told me everything I needed to know, that he was panicking on the inside about me leaving and me telling people. Maybe because more happened with 18F than what I know, maybe because he's done this before, I'm not sure. But he fucked up bad. It's so late, I was so exhausted, and I feigned agreement in working through it and told him I could move past it, but I was obviously lying. I need time to get shit in order. He is sleeping in the guest room tonight. I told him I would need a lot of space and he said he was okay with that. He left his phone in our bedroom for the night as a peace offering. I hate his fucking guts. I have so many things on my mind right now. What the fuck to do, how to get a lawyer, if I should tell my family, if I should tell the school, the fact that I have no proof but I know what I saw. The fact that I'll be 33 and divorced. Above all, the fact that my husband may have slept with this girl, that's my gut telling me, because he kept repeating that he would never sleep with his students, over and over, when I was using words like cheat with, look at porn of, or sex with. So that's the update. I was gaslit and lied too. I got no sleep last night but still went to work this morning to get away from him. He hasn't texted me or called all day. I want nothing more than to go to the school with this info. My heartbreak is gone and I'm just angry and disgusted and want to right his wrongs, but I need him to admit to it so I can know how bad it is, and I don't think he will. I was thinking of telling him that I reached out to the girl, I'm not going to, and see if that freaks him out enough to come clean, but what if she doesn't know / he's using a fake account? Or just saying I have proof, even though I don't. Anybody have any good ideas? In the meantime, looking for divorce lawyer ASAP. Edit, I am quickly edited to add, because so many people are saying I don't need proof to divorce, and I know that. I'm leaving him 100% regardless. But I really want some proof. I want to prove to him that he can't lie to me and get away with doing this. I also think most people in his life will not believe me without proof. I'm scared of my name being slandered and him getting off scot-free or maybe even making me the bad guy for falsely accusing. I also want to know the extent because I need to know if he is sleeping with students or just being a creep. Now on to second story. Husband revealed his past love for his ex, confessed he used me to move on, leaving me questioning our 14-year marriage. I was watching a video with my husband. We've been married for 14 years and we have 3 children together. He has always been a great husband in my eyes and a great companion. In that video at one point they mentioned Katy Perry's song. The song was the one that got away. It was a relaxing moment and he just casually said that he used to listen that song a lot thinking about his ex and laughed, but I know he instantly regretted saying that because I told him that the song was out when we were already married. He had ended his relationship 2 years before he met me. We had a little argument. After pressuring him a bit he admitted that while we were dating he was still in love with his ex-girlfriend. Even after we got married he was still in love. He saw her as the love of his life, but when they both went their separate ways he had the need to hurry things up and meet someone. That is me. I don't know how to explain it. Has anyone ever seen those series where first you see the beautiful point of view of one character and then the dark point of view of another? That's how I felt. I was really in love with him from the beginning. It all seemed rushed to me, but in my silly mind it was because we were madly in love. But he just used me to forget her. I cried and felt pathetic. He asked me for forgiveness 1,000 times, telling me that a while after we were married he started to love me. He told me that I am the love of his life, that he feels like an idiot. Maybe I'm exaggerating? But it breaks my heart to know that it took him years to love me. He used me like rehab and I feel like I was a fool in love while he thought about his ex. We have been sleeping in separate beds. We cannot afford anything like couples therapy.
Why? I feel too hurt. Every time I see him I can only think of him thinking of her every time we were together, of him thinking of her when we got married, of him thinking about her when we slept together.
I can only think of me being a fool in love and him crying for her in secret. He learned to love me? Why was it so hard to love me? All those times he told me that he loved him were lies? I have a hard time talking to him and not showing my children how sad I feel. I'm not going to let this affect them. Update 1. I received many comments but I hated that thing of "but you're the one who wakes up next to him. He chose you. He's not an award that I have to be proud of having won and she's not my competition. Oh, he chose me. How happy I am to have been chosen while he's still thinking about another woman. Yeah, it doesn't work like that." To the update, I showed my husband the post. He cried a lot and he is not a very sensitive person. He apologized a lot saying that he would feel just like me if he was in my shoes. Many believe that it would have been better if he had never said anything. For me it is not like that. I appreciate sincerity and he knows that. Maybe I would feel less hurt if he had been clear about this years ago. He was 22 when he broken up with his ex and their relationship lasted 2 years. It's not a long time but it was very intense because of her personality. It wasn't good but he had a dependence on her that was not healthy, so it was difficult for him to leave her totally until they both finally went their separate ways and break up, but it was messed up because they still kept sleeping together from time to time. He knew he needed to move on, so he felt that by being with me he could forget her faster. He felt guilty for having feelings for me, but we started our relationship anyways. They had already been with no contact for months when he and I met. That's something I remember. He admitted that his worst mistake was not being alone because, since they continued to see each other in FWB way until a few months before we met, he was basically grieving the relationship while we were together. He said that he always felt guilty about it, but he knew that he loved me, but his mind was quite messed up, so he refused to love me because he was too confused and scared of moving on from her. My husband said that when he finally allowed himself to love me totally, he told me that he had always loved me but felt guilty for doing so, but he finally forgot about her and allowed himself to love me shortly after we were married. That was also the time when he began to go to the psychologist. He began to feel really embarrassed of himself every time he remembered the things he did, like thinking about his ex with that Katy Perry song. He told me that while we were watching that video he didn't really think too much about it since it's something that he has worked on and overcome. When my husband heard the song he just thought shit. I was really pathetic and thought it was funny to tell me about it, but he was such an idiot that he didn't really thought about the dates. Honestly, I believe him. He's like that and sometimes says things without thinking. He told me no, that he's not in love with her anymore and he hasn't had any feelings for her for more than 10 years, that he doesn't think about her or anything like that. He has learned to see all the flaws in her and how the best decision was not to continue with that life, not only for me but for himself, since even before he met me he knew it was an abusive relationship and he was just too immature and young to think that she was the love of his life. Husband, read all those comments like he's going to go with her at the first chance he gets / she's cheating on you right now, and he told me he never would. He asked me if he ever made me feel that he was that kind of man, and I said no. Honestly, even now I don't feel insecure about it. I know him. This is the first time he's hurt me in over 10 years, and I still know he's not that kind of man. I asked him if he had contact with her, and he told me that he never felt interested again in doing that and wouldn't do it either because it would be disrespectful to me. Actually, now I know more about her than him. He has already overcome the relationship and realized that he was being really pathetic and didn't want it to be like those in the comments who are 60 years old and still idealize the past. Going to the most important thing. No, I'm not going back to him right now. I think he loves me? Yes. I think he doesn't think about her anymore? Yes. But that doesn't mean he didn't use me the first years of our relationship. And no, it is not normal to use one person to forget another. If you think that is okay, then go to therapy. Although that is something in the past for him, it is an open and new wound for me, so I need my time for reflection. So we are going to continue living together but separated. He told me he's going to do everything to make me fall in love again, and I know he's going to do it, but for now I want my space to think and heal. He just said that it's his chance to start the relationship as it should have been from the start. In my first post, when I said that I trust that he would not be unfaithful to me, many commented he's cheating on you and he only uses you as his maid to fuck. Open your eyes. It's quite misogynistic to believe that just because I'm a woman I'm already the one who cleans. I have never felt this way in the relationship, and I clarified it in the post, but many insisted on that as if they wanted me to doubt about him, and it was like reading a little devil in my shoulder wanting to make me think in an irrational way. I literally received comments telling me that he was an abuser and never loved me. How is that going to help anyone? Even if it were true, there are less aggressive ways to say something other than sending me private messages calling me a maiden dog. I work and he put the house and car in my name years ago. I am not a submissive woman. I'm not the only one who cleans. Yes, men can also clean and take care of children. It's a job of two. I don't know what's so surprising about that. Even though I'm angry and hurt, I'm not going to make a false narrative that comes from resentment where I say that my husband is a manipulator who has me trapped on his hands when I know he's not. He's just dumb. I don't feel trapped in the relationship and I can leave whenever I want. I don't want to leave now and I want to heal so I can see what to do in the future with all this. I think a lot of people reflected their traumas in my post because the comments went from all men are lying shit, he's using you and will go back to her because my ex was also a lying shit, to we men are like that. I think about my ex every day too. You're going to ruin your kid's life with this drama, so I stopped reading them. Generalizing about a genre, it's too old-fashioned to me and even sexist. Curiously, the comments that helped the most were the ones with less votes, so thanks to those people who actually gave a good advice. For now, things are like this. I need my time to heal a new wound and he respects that. And now, I'm not staying just for the 14 years or the kids. I am staying because I know what he is like and because no one knows the reality better than me and who really does feel sorry and wants to make a sincerely effort. I am a mature woman. I am not going to let the irrationality of my hurt feelings cloud my judgment and erase the reality I've been living. I think some people here are too immature, or maybe they've never been in a serious relationship, because if the first thing they think when a couple have a problem is divorce, then it's quite worrying. Edit. My God, it's really crazy how a lot of people don't even read the posts and takes the time to understand before commenting. Even now there's someone telling me I'm a bangmate, as if being a woman automatically did that to me. But I guess my mistake was not saying what everyone wants, which is to paint my husband as a villain who is going to run with his ex as soon as he gets the chance. People are usually weird. They believe that seeing reality is justifying their behavior. I don't justify what he did at all. It seems like shit to me, but I'm not going to lie and say yes, that he never loved me when I myself know that it's not like that.